Ever launched your game from a different phone and it looks broken? Either buttons are displaced or the UI is stretched like rubber or some graphics are cut off? Well, you are not alone. In this video, I'll show you proven techniques to make your game look the same on any mobile screen, no matter the resolution. Let's dive in. The easiest way to make your game look the same on any phone screen is by using a camera component with a fixed resolution. This lets you treat the player screen as if it has a resolution you control. With this setup, you can freely scale and position your game components and they will appear consistent across all devices. This is because the camera's viewport will automatically scale to fit as much of the screen as possible while preserving the aspect ratio of your chosen resolution. But here's the trade-off. If the player's actual screen size doesn't match your game's aspect ratio, they will end up with black bars or unplayable areas on the sides of their screen. This brings us to the second technique, and honestly, it's my favorite. I call it the grid system. It lets you scale your game without underutilizing the screen space like fixed resolution does. Let's break it down. Imagine you're running your game on two different devices, one with a resolution of 200 by 400 and another with 320 by 480. Here's the trick. We define a grid variable which will be a portion of the screen size, for example 10% of the screen's width and height. Now, instead of using raw pixels, we position and scale all game objects using this grid. Let's say we add a game object that's exactly 1 grid unit wide and tall. Then we place another object 2 grids away from the x-axis and maybe another object 2.5 grids away from the last one. Flame gives us access to the device screen size, so we can mix that in too. For example, place an object 20% of the screen height from the top and centered on the x-axis. By consistently positioning and scaling everything relative to the grid, your game will automatically adjust to any screen size and still look perfect. The best part about this technique is how flexible it is. You can define your grid however best it fits your game. For example, you could calculate the grid using a double for more advanced scaling and positioning. But honestly, for most games, just using a fixed percentage of the screen works perfectly. This is actually the same technique I use for most of my tutorials because it just works. Before we dive into the bonus clip, 92.2% of you watching right now are not subscribed. If you find this type of videos valuable, hit the subscribe button, and my promise to you is that I will consistently make more valuable content. Also, I've got some code along tutorials coming soon, so please subscribe so you won't miss out. Now to the bonus tip. Some devices have a much higher pixel density than others. This means that your game assets might look crisp on one phone but blurry on another. Here's how to fix that. In your asset folder, create multiple versions of the same image and place them in subfolders named 1x, 2x, 3x and so on. Just make sure that the file names are exactly the same and follow that naming convention. The best part, Flame will automatically choose the right version based on the device pixel density, so your game looks sharp everywhere without any extra code. Earlier, I mentioned that I use the grid system in my tutorials. Click on the video on your screen to find out how.